Hey everybody, and welcome back to Investment Honey, where we talk about various crypto projects. Before we begin, as always, a couple of reminders that I am not your financial advisor and we never provide investment advice on this channel ever. So with that being said, if you are new to the series, thank you so much for joining us here in the Dexscreener series. Certainly would encourage you to go back to day one video of the series, just so you can go ahead and get those introductions and the flow of how things will go out of the way. If you're somebody that's been with us since the beginning or joined us along the way, thanks so much for being here in the Dexscreener series. You've got many different options, across YouTube. And so we're just so glad that you continue to decide to engage, with the content here on Investment Honey. So with that being said, we got a little bit of review to go through today. So we're going to go ahead and start out with XChat. Now, with XChat, this one, we looked at this yesterday. So we can see that this did trigger, because obviously it's indicated by disabled. Okay, and this, is also taking, the Dexscreener tracking, because it tracks whenever we set these alerts, was created a day ago, and it last triggered, a day ago. So the note that we set for ourselves was at 115K. That's where we found this, and that this triggered, when it went under 85K. So if we look at that here, we can see 85K is going to be somewhere, let's see here, in this area, right? So, and even from there, it went ahead and continued to retrace, because I think on this one, I only set an under. Yep, so I only set an under alert on this, and I continued to retrace, and then obviously we went up, and then it came back down, and then it went up, and it came back down, and went back up. So this one went up to around 300K, so we're talking it triggered at 85, went all the way up to around 300K. So really good movement on this one, when you look at the found market cap, and where it peaked. So with that being said, this is yet again another example of what we're doing here in this series. We're finding stuff early without the help of a Cole, without the help of an influencer. I'm teaching you how to go ahead and utilize Dexscreener so that you can go ahead and find this stuff early on your own. Or you can just go ahead and tune in every day. You can copy the alerts that I'm setting here. It's kind of like our treasure hunt, every day as we're looking across the Dexscreener platform to go ahead and try to find stuff that may have potential to go ahead and move, and we're setting those alerts, we're looking at the community, we're doing our own analysis and evaluation, and, again, setting those indicators to help us to determine, what might be a good target, that we want to go ahead and maybe jump into should someone decide to participate. So with that being said, XChat, again, is another example of what we're doing here and catching the tokens, before they do anything from a 2x, to a 10x and beyond on the pump. So again, a good example here. Now we're going to close this one out and we're going to go on to haircut. This was one that I was actually not that confident about. I mean, I'm never really super confident, but again, because you never know what's going to happen with a lot of these tokens, whether they go up or they go down. All we can do is set the indicators and then see if it triggers, and then we can go ahead and come back in and make a decision from there as to what we may want to do. So with that being said, this one was one that we looked at on the 27th. I actually took a screenshot from the video. You can see the 27th here, and we can see that, they had a run up, and they had another run up, and then it was coming down, and I was like, hey, 50-50, maybe this will go ahead and do something. So I set the alerts anyway. All right. So, and I think on this one, I set two of them, I think, an over and an under. No, just an under. Okay. So either way, with this one, I wanted to be alerted, when this one went under 300K. So if we look at where that is on the chart, this one right here, it looked like we were right here, but we found this at 388K. And so 388K would have been somewhere around here. Okay. So I think this is kind of where we found it. And then what happened, it went up from there, and it retraced all the way down, to that 300 level, which I think is right here. Okay. And then obviously what did it do? There was more buy pressure that came back into the chart, peaked out, it looks like just over 1 million, 1.2. And then it came back down, which, as we know, anything on your charts, when you get to a peak level, there's going to be retracement, because there's going to be people that came in at the bottom levels that are in profit. So they're going to go ahead and they're going to sell, obviously, right? So whether it's anything from their initials, to their whole bag, either way, they're going to sell. And so this, again, another example where we were able to go ahead and catch that triggered at 300K, and then it went all the way back up, to 1.2 million, and then came back down, and currently sitting at just under, that 500,000 mark, so, or a little over, so either way, this one, like I said, I really wasn't super confident about this one. I just didn't see a lot that was leading me to believe that this one could really move, but again, why do we, we set those alerts? Those alerts are the indicators, for us, that if it does trigger, then it leads us to maybe come back to the chart go back to the community, see what's going on, and to evaluate, further evaluate, whether we think this has potential to continue to move forward. So yeah, and that's what took place here in Haircut. So good to see that. And another example, of what's going on in the series. There have been multiple examples across, the 40+ days that we've been going on in the series, where we've highlighted tokens that have been caught before pump, and that pump can be anything, as I've told you guys before, anything from a 2x to a 10x and beyond. This is another example, of this of a token, being able to move, from the not necessarily the found market cap, but from the trigger that was set, the alert that was set. And obviously this one did that. So with that being said, that's going to do it in terms of review for us today. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and jump into the discovery portion of the video. We're going to go ahead and work on our configuration here, since we got like everything going on here. You guys already know, if you've been with me any amount of time, in the series, I don't really care to see all this stuff. There's only certain things I need. So your configuration might be a little bit different, but as far as me, I like to get rid of the price, transactions, volume, and makers. I like to keep all the time slots and get rid of the liquidity, and then click apply. So that keeps us, that streamlines my view. Okay, but like I said, your view may look different, and that's perfectly fine. This is just all I need for what I'm going to do. So we're going to go straight into the filters, and we're going to go ahead and focus on Solana and market cap. We're going to go ahead and start out, with our minimum value as always at 50K, and we're going to go to 250K since we're just working with one chain. So I can't imagine we're going to get like 50 tokens or anything like that, but we'll see. Pair age, we'll go and we'll start out with fresh stuff. Keep in mind, I make this disclaimer a lot. Whenever we start out with this stuff, where it's only been like an hour old, we are bound to run into more scams. You're going to run into, higher volatility, more scams, so keep that in mind. So we've seen some tokens where they've been super busy and active, in the chat. And we've also all seen them, move up like a rocket and then drop like a rocket too. So just keep that in mind. High volatility doesn't always, signal that it's a great token. Okay, so looking at the hours, let's go out to 25 hours. And then on the 24-hour change, we're going to go ahead and put a minimum value of 10%. Now, keep in mind, I tend to go ahead and do that 10% just because I want to see, all positive values, in that 24-hour window. But for anybody that's brand new or has joined, the channel or the series, here in the last, week or so, because I don't always talk about this, but if I ever click apply, and I tend to, sort my sort whatever results are produced from after setting the filters. I sort it by the 24-hour, and so we can see the largest gain all the way to the lowest gain. But typically, for most of you guys, whenever you're watching me do this, I'm not bothering with tokens that are looking at minus 96% in this 24-hour window. Now sometimes, again, if we're talking about the filters, sometimes what you can do is, if we're getting into some advanced stuff in regards to the filters, you can, let's see here, go to your 24-hour. You can go ahead and you can set this at, let's say, like remember what I said, this was, I don't know how many days ago it was, but this is why I've told you guys, it does make more sense to go ahead and watch, more of the video, because you never know what I'm going to talk about, go more in depth, with the filters. Because typically I like to go ahead and keep things, a little bit, just basic, in terms of, what we're doing with the filters, to go ahead and get some, tokens that we can go ahead and look at. But there are times where I'll go ahead and I'll talk a little bit more about the filters. This will be one of those. And some days ago, I talked about how on the minimum values, what do you have to do? You got to flip flop it, right? So, and it only applies, when you're working with the negatives, you have to flip flop. So, and we're talking about the percentage, where you can add in a percentage. So here, my max value is actually going to be my minimum value. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 50%. And I have to go ahead and look back, on some of these videos to see when I actually talked about the negative values, but again, if you don't want to go back to another video, I'll just go ahead and put it out here, but I'm not going to go as in depth as I did, before. But either way, you want to flip flop them, so, and don't ask me why, it works that way. I can only tell you that I just know that it works that way, and that when you don't do it this way, you're going to go ahead and just mess up your results. In fact, you're not even going to mess them up. You're not going to get any results if you mess this part up. So yeah, so either way, you want to flip flop the values, so I'm going to go 50 to 90%. Now, obviously, for any other situation, where we're going ahead and putting minimum and maximum values in, we're going to go ahead and start off with, your minimum, which is going to be our 50, and then what, our 90, right? Like that's what it would look like, right? So, but like I said, whenever you're working with negatives, and it only works in the percentage, boxes, okay? You got to flip-flop it. So here we're going to look for, and again, I'm just going into a little bit more information in regards to filters. You want to look for maybe 50 to 90%, right? So this is what I've seen, with some tokens, what they'll do. If I go ahead and I put a value of -50 to -90 in the 24-hour, and I could go ahead and do the same thing, in the 6-hour too, because a lot of times your 24-hour and your 6-hour, they're going to look somewhat similar. They can, especially, when they've dropped a lot, okay? But for now, let's just go ahead and leave the 6-hour alone. So, and then if I want to see maybe a token that may be starting to wake back up, having this 50 to 90 is important because it means that it's probably dropped, and it means that it probably had a lot of volatility and then it just dropped like a rock. So you don't even have to go ahead and put a pair age in here a lot of times, because it's typically going to focus on a token that's been only like 24 hours old. Okay, so, and let's see here. If I'm looking for something that's going to try to be waking up a little bit, for the 1-hour change, I may go ahead and put at least show me a minimum value of 1%. And I may want to go ahead and do like a minimum value of 10 buys in the last 5 minutes. Well, actually, because it might not show me anything, but let's see. Let's do 1 buy in the last 5 minutes. Okay, so let's go and let's click apply. So basically, what are we seeing here? We're seeing tokens that dropped, in the last day, basically, because, most of these are going to be a day, okay? But you do have some, where you can see 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, but typically, you'll see stuff that's fairly new, okay? And especially, well, not even especially, but like I said, you typically see stuff that's newer. And again, we're looking at that 50 to 90% area, right? So we can see in the 24-hour, we're seeing anything from 50% to 90%. So isn't that pretty cool? That you can target, a little bit further, tokens that you only want to see that have dropped, a certain percentage point in the negative, okay, that may be starting to wake up. So these dropped in the negative, 50 to 90%. You can see what's going on here in the 6-hour, and then you can also see, and what did we say? We wanted to see anything that had at least 1% change in the last hour, and we wanted to see anything with at least, I think, what was it, 1% or 1 buy? 1 buy in the 5 minute? Let me make sure. Let's see here. 1 buy, yeah. So at least 1 buy in the 5 minutes. So all of these have at least 1 buy in the last 5 minutes. They've changed at least 1% on the 1 hour, and they dropped 50 to 90% in the last 24 hours. So these tokens could be tokens that could be starting to wake up, because what's happened, they had a huge drop and they're starting to see a little bit of activity. Now, if we wanted to, see a bit more activity, okay, I guess I could show you a couple of charts real quick. Let's take this one, let's take this one, and let's take Wolfie. Actually, hold on. Before I do that, let's make sure we're looking at stuff that maybe is just a day. So I'm going to take a look at the age here. So let's take Charlie. Let's take this one. And I don't know. I'm not too crazy about that name. We'll take this one too. Okay. So waiting for these to come in. All right. So let's see what these charts look like real quick. And I know we still got to get into discovery today, but I just want to go ahead and show you a little bit something different, in regards to the filter. So right now we're just seeing sells, but hold on, I'm waiting for these charts to come in. Come on, give me the chart. All right, so let's go ahead and let's sort this. Okay, fine, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, and then we're gonna go to the 1 hour here. Okay, and we're going to the 1 hour here. Okay, so you can see, what do we see here? We see a little bit, I think you can see a little bit better here. Or I don't even know on the 4 hour. Okay, you can see that there's a little bit of green starting to pop back up. So what does that mean? If I'm looking for a token that has a little bit of activity, they're starting to go ahead and maybe, like I mentioned before, wake back up. This is what I'm talking about. Something that's already had a pretty decent drop, but it's starting to maybe get some activity. And we can see that also indicated here on the 5 minute. It's up 32%. On the 1 hour, we're at 63%. Let's go to another one. Okay, so this one could be starting to wake back up, right? On the 5 minute, let's go over here to the 5 minute. What are we seeing? We're seeing 1 buy, 1 sell. We're seeing $11 in buy volume and 1 buyer. Okay, let's go back to Sad Charlie. What did we see here on the 5 minute? We see 15 buyers. We see almost 4,000 in buy volume. We see 17 buys. Okay, so again, this may be something that's interesting to me. Now, granted, when you do something like this, you might not always see a telegram. And like I told you guys before, not having a Telegram doesn't necessarily always mean it's a scam. It's just that there are a lot of them that are scams, okay? But like I said, with what I'm showing you here with the filters, you can see where a token may be starting to wake back up. And then if you look at this one here, what do we see on the 5-minute? We see one buy, we see $137 in buy volume, or one buyer, but one buyer with 2 buys. Now, what happened here? We see that this buyer right here, they bought twice. This is why this information is really good, but so is it is here too. But you can see this buyer, to me, as I look at this one, I'm like, you know what? This buyer is going ahead and just making all the buys. So it could be basically a false signal. So you also want to make sure that you're paying attention to that. There may be somebody that's going ahead and providing all the volume. That's not really what you're looking for. You want to see where there's some diversity in terms of the volume that's coming in as a token starting to wake back up. So here we got 10 buyers, 10 buys. What's that mean? You have 10 different people that have made 10 different buys. And what have they generated? They generated over $2,000 in buy volume. So again, that's just another, nugget, of information for you in regards to something else that you can do with the filters. Now, if you're brand new, let's say you're brand new to crypto and you're like this is just way over my head. Again, the benefit that you have here is typically I'm not doing this. Typically, I'm not going ahead and going into more advanced stuff that you can do with the filters. Typically, we're just staying with the basic stuff, right? Okay. But again, sometimes I will go ahead and talk about a little bit more advanced stuff that you can do with the filters so that you can see other ways that you can go ahead and target, what you're looking for within the Dexscreener platform. And that's the reason why I tell you guys, Dexscreener is amazing for the data that it can provide you because it covers so many tokens across all of the chains, guys. But again, that's just a little bit negative, some additional information for you. If you know anybody that you think may, benefit from that information, again, share the information with them. I know sometimes I go ahead and I go through this stuff pretty quickly, but you have the benefit, just going back and reviewing the material as much as you want, once the video is uploaded. So go ahead and make sure you do that and share that information with other people that could be interested in trying to figure out, how do I target, stuff a little bit better, using this platform. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get back to the basics, get back to going into discovery. Okay, and let's see what we can find today. So I think I set the pair age, here before, 1 to 25 hours. And then again, that minimum value here is going to be at 10%. So, and then everything else is clear. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click apply and see what we got going on. So again, I'm going to go ahead and check off my 24-hour, and we can see here in the 24-hour column, we're sorting it by the largest amount of volume to the least, but the least amount will be above 10% because we put that 10% minimum value in that 24-hour column, as seen right here. Okay, so it means I don't want to see anything in the red. I don't want to see anything under 10%. And that's the benefit of being able to do that. So we can truly manipulate our data to only see what we want to see. Okay, so and again, I've told you guys before, anytime you see these boxes, with question mark, what's that tell you? Tells you likely it's going to be scammed, but again, there are exceptions. I've mentioned before, we saw Crime Coin not even a week ago. That token went bananas from, I think, sub 20K, went into the millions. I think that broke over 10 million as far as that token was concerned. And that one, look, it didn't have a picture, in here. It was just a box with a question mark. I've told you guys, there are outliers, but again, I typically tend to go ahead and stick with the stuff that's got a picture, because again, those are the tokens that typically, have a better chance, of not scamming you. Not to say that they can't, or they're going to work out, but again, I tend to want to focus on the ones where I'm not looking at this. So just putting that out there to you. But with that being said, let's go ahead and let's open up some of these tokens and let's get into discovery today. So we're also going to go ahead and start to see some Valentine's meta, tokens, just because, and tax as well. Anything that's going on in real life, obviously we're going to go ahead and see some of that stuff, here as represented in tokens, as well, because we know that, what happens in real life is typically also, stuff that shows up, here, in crypto as well. So Success Team, sure, we'll go ahead and we'll open that one up. Solentine, sure. X Money, okay. And Brainy, sure, not doing that. For anybody new, any kind of language that's derogatory, I don't go ahead and open those tokens, for anything that's going to be uploaded to YouTube. You can do that on your own, but I'm not going to go ahead and do it, as I am working through, tokens, through what we're showing you on how to use the Dexscreener platform to find, different tokens to possibly look at. Okay, so Caterpillar Inu, that's interesting. And in it for the tech. Oops, I'm not sure what I just did. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's see here. Okay, that's fine. All right, so we got a bunch of these. And yesterday, obviously what happened yesterday was something happened where I got limited where I could go ahead. I couldn't get into any more Telegram groups. So hopefully that's been fixed today, for today's video, because I haven't checked on it today. So, all right, with that being said, we have Valentine, just a Valentine guy. So we want to make sure in our scanning that the chart looks okay and that we do have a Telegram. All right, so this one looks okay. Let's see here. This one is Cube AI, so we're going to go to the 5-minute. And this one looks okay, so we do get a Telegram on that one. This one is, what, Snake Pepe? All right, so we're seeing a bunch of snake ones show up. I think it has something to do with, like, maybe Chinese New Year, maybe, but I'm not sure. So this one does have a Telegram. We'll keep it. This one's a tax token. All right, chart looks okay. We'll keep it. And this one obviously looks horrible, so it looks like a rug. This one is Soltine. The chart looks okay. They got a Telegram. We'll keep it. This one, X Money, looks like it's kind of on the bottom, but could be coming back up. I mean, the minus isn't terrible. I mean, it's minus 38%, but it's not awful. Incredible buy volume, on the 24-hour, over 10 million in buy volume. So let's see. We're gonna go here. Brainy, they got a massive boost going on in ads. We'll definitely go and keep this one, just see what's going on. But a lot of activity. Seems like they're coming back up from the bottom. This one's Orion Pay or Orion Pay. Not really digging this chart, especially considering there's no activity on the 5-minute or the 1 hour. This is likely a honeypot, so we're going to go ahead and close this one out. Let's see here. American AI Agent. This one. Okay, there we go. We got some socials and could be maybe coming back up, from the bottom. I'll keep it open. We'll come back to it. And this one, Capita AI, let's look at the 5-minute and the 1 minute. Okay, this one looks pretty decent in terms of, what's going on with the chart, even with the exception of this, but it looks like they got a volume bot going on. We'll keep it. We got a Telegram here, and then this one's going to be Cata New. Not crazy about this one at all. So plus they don't have a Telegram. Okay, so we got a number of tokens we can go ahead and look at. So we're just going to go ahead and start jumping into the channels. Give me a moment, guys. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and jump into Valentine over here, and we're going to go ahead and jump into the channel, see what they got going on. So it looks like this is a CTO right away. Okay, so right away we can see that they've got some a raid going. Okay, so 5 bookmarks is what they're looking for, 5 replies, 5 retweets, and 15 likes. We can see the progress indicator right here, and they got a VC going on, so it's always good to go ahead and see that. Looking for votes from the community in regards to getting some live trending going on. At Major Buy Bots, they're also engaged in CTO trends as well. So, I mean, they got some stuff going on to try to go ahead and get this one moving. Okay, in the pinned messages, let's see here. Got a channel where you can join for memes. All right, just posted a TikTok, as well. So they're trying to go ahead and leverage that platform too. Okay, so not really seeing any sign of trending, just from a brief look around, but either way, chart doesn't look terrible, right? So this one we'll go and we'll set 2 alerts. Going to set an over and an under on this one, so we're going to go straight to market cap. And glad to see that, hey, I can finally, I can't even tell you that I could actually, join new groups, but again, it looks like things are working better than they did yesterday, so that's positive, right? So what do we got here going? We got 123 there, and this is saying 126, so we're going to go ahead and mark our found market cap at 126K, and we're going to go ahead and copy this, and then on the over, I'm going to go ahead and set this at 140K, all right? And then on, let's see here, come on, computer. All right, it's taking its good old time. Hopefully this won't take much longer. So, all right, let me pause this real quick. Okay, so I had to figure out what was going on, with that, and for some reason it logged me out. But either way, hopefully I got this, worked out. So we're going to go ahead and try this again. We've already gone ahead and set the alert, for 140. Okay, and then on the under, we're going to go ahead and set this again, 126 on the found, and then on the under, we're going to go ahead and go to 100K. All right, so great. All right, so good. Looks like that's working. So now we're going to move on to the next one. So we got Cube AI. So let's go ahead and take a look at the channel, see what they got going on. So, all right, I understand. Okay, so let's see. Do we get a verification portal at all? At all? I'm not seeing it, which is just weird. There we go. So, what they should do on this one? They should go ahead and they should set that, so you only have a 1-click, because a lot of people won't go ahead and scroll back up. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and see if we have any issues getting in here. All right, so Great. So we're in, and let's see, any sign of a raid. Okay, they got trending going on. Always click on the link to go ahead and make sure they're on the leaderboard. So they say they're number 4. Let's take a look here. Cube. Do we see Cube? Okay, they're actually number 3, which is good to see. Okay, so they're moving up on the leaderboard. They also have live trending 2 on through major buy bot. So that's basically double trending. The raid. Okay, so they had a raid going. This one was completed. They were looking for 5 bookmarks, 5 replies, 5 retweets, and 15 likes. They got all of that. All right, so apparently people panic selling. Okay, they've been listed, here on 4chan. Okay, so yeah, they're trending, on X. So I mean, good things going on. They are for the token. For this one, I think it makes sense to go ahead and set 2. So we're going to go ahead and set 2 of them. We're sitting at 103 right here. Let's see what this says. This also says 106. So we're going to go ahead and go with the tab. So 106K. All right, we're going to copy that, and here market cap. So on the over, let's go to 120. Okay, and then on the under, okay, I think I'm going to go to 75K. All right, so we'll see if those trigger or not, and then we're going to go out to the next one, Snake Pepe. All right, so let's take a look here, see what's going on in their channel. Okay, so is this the main channel? This looks like this is actually the main channel. Okay, so not seeing any buys though. Let's see. Oh, there we go. There we go. Tap to verify. I was just talking about this a minute ago, wasn't I? Okay, so here we go. And there we go. So just over 700 members, in the chat. So buy just came in at 105. That's what I got on my clock. We're looking for any sign of a raid. I'm not seeing any sign of trending so far. Okay, as we're scrolling, nope, that's not live trending. That's just major buy bot. Okay, so no raid, no trending. They got something you can raid there, but it's not like, through a raid bot. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so they were looking for votes apparently, for live trending, but they didn't get it. So we're going to go ahead and close out. Nothing going on up here in the banner, either. So looks like this is probably, to me, going to head downward. So I'm only going to set an under alert on this one. So we're sitting at 115K, actually lower than that, actually. Let's see, this says 109. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set this for 109 on under, and 109K. And so let's go to 70K. Let's see if it triggers. Okay, I'm going to close this one out. And then for Tax Solution AI, let's go ahead and let's check out the channel. Right now, it looks like there's kind of basically just trading sideways. So let's launch this and see if we can get in here and see what's going on. All right, waiting for our link. Okay, there we go. So already see a sign of a VC, pretty decent, VC going on, almost 20 members. They got a raid going, and they're looking for 3 bookmarks, 3 reposts, 3 replies, and 8 likes. Okay, so let's see here. What was the last buy on this one? I'm going to go back down here just to make sure. Okay, last buy just came in. Okay, and let's see here. Okay, no sign of trending going on, for this one. Okay, let's see here. So, and they mentioned CTO trending, expired again. So apparently that did. And so again, they got the VC going. The raid, I'm not sure if that was still ongoing, if they had already completed that. I think it's still ongoing. And but no trending. So coming back out here, and they got a small boost going. So we'll set 2 alerts on this one. This is setting 202, actually 193 according to the tab. So here we're going to set 193K as our found market cap, and over we're going to go ahead and set this at 215. Okay, and then on the under, we're going to go ahead and set this at 130. I know it's a pretty decent deviation from where it currently is, but like I said, I'm curious to see if it triggers. For this one, we got stolen time. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the channel, see what they got going on. Okay, so view group. And small VC going on. Let's see here. When was the last buy? So last buy is outside the 10-minute buy window. So for me, you guys already know if you've been following the series for any amount of time. Once I come into a channel, if I don't see a buy within 10 minutes, in comparison to my own clock, then I don't really mess with it. So you guys can have your own, standard, for how you want to go ahead and engage, with tokens beyond finding them, through the filters. But like I said, I want to see, some volume, so if I don't see anything within 10 minutes, then, it's not really worth my time, in my personal opinion. So we're going to go ahead and leave this one alone. All right. So we're looking here at X money. Doesn't look like this one's really made any kind of movement, or much movement since, but again, could be, starting to try to come up, from the bottom. Again, massive boost they've paid for here. Probably, I'd say since a 500 boost, is basically, $4 grand. This has got to be somewhere around, in the neighborhood of 8, 9, 10 grand for the boost that they paid for, which is incredible. Especially considering, that a lot of these boosts, they aren't guaranteed to move your token, so I tend to think, yes, you need to have different things that you're doing on the marketing front, but yeah, in terms of how you spend the money, unless you just got a massive budget that you're working with, paying for a huge boost to me isn't necessarily always worth your time and a good, way to use the money, but that's just my personal opinion. So we're going to take a look at the Telegram anyway. All right, so here we go. We get a verification portal. So there we are. And let's see how many people we got in here if it's going to tell us. Okay, so nope, doesn't tell us. Okay, so either way, but this is showing, over 50,000 members, in here. So we can see a buy just came in a minute ago, looking for any sign of a raid or trending. So not really seeing that yet. We would have probably already seen a raid, already, but not seeing that. And so they say they're 18 on trending, but that's bottom of the list, and this was, about 7 minutes ago. So let's make sure that they're still, on the leaderboard, looking for X money. So 18, and obviously wouldn't be at the top, but we don't see them anywhere. So it looks like they fell off the leaderboard, so they're no longer, visible, here on trending, so I'm gonna head back over. All right, but with that being said, there's really nothing that's serving as a catalyst, at least right here. So the only thing they've got going for them is going to be that massive boost that they paid for, right? So, and yes, sure, they're still getting some buys, but also keep in mind with these boosts and things of the like, you don't necessarily bring in long-term holders, so. So sure, you're getting some buys, but you're also getting, some pretty big sells, too. So, and that's going to keep it here on the bottom, I think, unless they can get something else that serves as a catalyst to go ahead and move this, move this back up. Now, the number 2, Dexscreener's hot pairs, but again, I think you need more to go ahead and kind of move this out of this, bottom level area. Now, the only thing that makes sense to me on this one, if I'm going to set an alert, is going to be an over alert, so we're going to do that. And we're currently sitting at, this says 230, the tab says 218, so we're going to go with the tab. 218K because the tab is typically more accurate. So on the over, I'm going to leave this, we'll set it at 230. So 230K. So we'll see if we can get there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and close this one out. And we're looking at Brainy. So Brainy, pretty decent boost, so and actually, that last boost was 13,000. That's probably, they probably paid like 15 grand for that boost. That's incredible. When you're looking at this one, because a 500 boost is 4 grand, a 500x boost is 4 grand, and this one's 1,500. So, and the one they paid for in the last token was 13,000x boost. So, with that being said, let's go and let's take a look, at the Telegram on this one, and let's see what kind of activity they got going on. All right, so we're waiting to go ahead and get in here. So we see they got over 1,300 members in the chat. Buy just came in at 111, okay, but you can't talk in here, which I don't necessarily care for. So they paid for Nitro, it looks like, through Dex Tools, okay. So, I mean, that's something. Not really seeing any sign of a raid. Obviously, you typically can't raid with a closed, Telegram. So Moon Talk, they paid for that, which is good. Okay, so they paid a bit more on the Nitro. All right, so they're utilizing Nitro. Moon Talk, I tend to think is 50-50 as far as whether it does anything for a token. But they're also paying for the boost, and they got the ads going. The number 11 on hot pairs, so they're doing some things to go ahead and try to get this moving. So tell you what, we're gonna go ahead and set 2 alerts on this one. We're sitting at 190K. So there we go, 190K. And on the over, we're going to go ahead and set this at 220K. Oops, can't put the K in there. All right, so that's the over. And then on the under, we're going to go ahead and set this one at 140K. We'll see if it triggers. Okay, so we're going to close that one out. And we're looking here. This one, again, could be trying to come back up, but here's my concern. My concern is you're looking at almost 90, minus 90, on the 6 hour. So on this one, if everything checks out, in the Telegram, the only thing we're going to set on this one's going to be an over alert. They got a 500x boost, so they paid 4 grand for that. Let's take a look, in the channel, and let's see what they got going on. So they got a VC scheduled for tomorrow. I'm not really sure what that's about, why you would schedule it for tomorrow, especially when the chart looks the way it does right now. This is the main channel. No portal to go ahead and get into. Last buy came in. When was that? Last buy came in at 113, so that's just now. Okay, and not seeing any sign of a raid. Okay. So, and not a lot of activity, in terms of additional messages, since we've been, here in the chat. So, let's see here. Not a lot going on, in their pinned messages. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're gonna head back out, and let's see. So, like I said, the only thing I'd be interested in setting on this one is going to be an over. So we'll set the over, on it. And let's see here. So the market cap is currently at 142. Or no, it's not, because sometimes the tabs don't always match up. So we're set at 53 here, and it doesn't really match up. So I'm going to go with the 53. Obviously, remember, there's always a delay. You get these two cells here, which means likely this is at a lower market cap. So I'll tell you what. Hold on, guys. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put it at our found market cap at 52. So it was at 51 a minute ago, a few seconds ago, but I'll keep it at 52. And the over, so we're going to go ahead and put this at, 65K. So I want to see it start to go ahead and break out of this area. Okay, actually, I think I'm going to set it at 70. Okay, I want a stronger buy candle. Okay, so we're going to leave this one alone. And looking at capital, doesn't really look like the charts really moved a whole lot, but that's neither here nor there. So they are paying for ads on this one, which is positive. But we'll see if they got anything else going on, once we get into the channel. So glad we're not having that issue we had yesterday. Like, yesterday was just weird. Okay, so we got just over 160, members here in the chat. Okay, so last buy came in at 115. That was just a minute ago. Let's see here. No signs of a raid right now. No sign of trending, either. Okay, so we're gonna go up here. What do they got going on? I made a purchase using HelioPay. Okay, so advertise your token on Dexscreener and give it exposure. All right, well, I've never heard of HelioPay, so that's interesting. Okay, let's see here. And then they put a link there. That's interesting. All right, so not much really going on in the pinned messages. Okay, so we're going to go back out here. Let's see what we got going on. I think it makes sense to go ahead and set 2 alerts for this one, so that's what we're going to go and do. So we're sitting at 144 according to the tab, so 144K. I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And on the over, let's go ahead and put this at 160, okay? And then on the under, we're going to go to 100K. Let's see if it triggers or not. So with that being said, give me a second real quick. All right, guys, I think what we're going to do, we're going to go back to our filters. We're going to go ahead and, oh yeah, I had to go ahead and reset this. So I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and go back to Solana. So, and we already checked, I think, everything up to, what was it, 250, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and reset this. And so let's do 251. Okay, we'll do 400. We're not going to look at a whole lot more. So pair age, I think we want 1 to 25. So there we go. And then on the change, 10. So yeah, when I was having issue, setting the alerts earlier, I went ahead and I reset this. So, but either way, all right. So this is what we get. So we're going to go ahead and start opening some of these up. And I'll tell you what, let me go ahead and close this so I can sort again, just for the sake of consistency. Dubai, Mr. Washy. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Agent Alpha, Trader X. Whoop. And the world happened. Where'd it go? There we go. Let's see here. Good afternoon. Okay. So let's see what we got going on, with these. All right. So chart obviously looks, pretty good, here, but the only thing I'd set would be an under, assuming everything worked out in the Telegram. Washy. How do I get him off? All right. So I don't know what that's about, but let's just go ahead and let's remove that one. Okay, so get ready, mainline alpha. So we're going to go out to the 5 minutes. Not really crazy about what that chart's looking like. Trader X looks like it's really here at the bottom at this point. Could be, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it alone. Okay, and this one, let's see what we got going on. So the chart doesn't look terrible, but we don't get a telegram on this one. And then here, this one doesn't look too bad. We do get a telegram. So, okay, so we got a couple more we're going to look at. They're paying for ads. They've got a small boost on this one. And let's see, do we get a portal? We don't get a portal, so this one's going to be one we're going to go ahead and skip. All right, so so there's that one. And then let's take a look here, see if this has got anything going on. Portal, great. All right, so we get a link and just over 1,100 members here in the group. So that's for me. Okay, so last buy just came in. 118. That's what I got on my clock. VC's good. They got. It looks like they had a raid. I don't know. Did I just see that or not? Let's see that. We'll keep. Let's go ahead. Let's keep scrolling up. See. So yeah, we would have seen a raid by now. So yeah. Let me make sure. Actually, let me check that out again. So yeah, there's a raid. Okay, so there is a raid here. Looking for 10 replies, 10 retweets, 20 likes. Okay, and then here, I like what they're saying here in terms of communicating the achievements. All socials updated, boosted, few listings, some calls, CMC and CG have been paid. So yeah, they got some good things going on here. They got more marketing. They're saying they're going to continue to roll out. So this one doesn't look too bad in terms of what they're trying to do in terms of getting exposure. So and again, the chart doesn't look bad at all. They got they paid $4,000 for the boosts. They got some ads they paid for. They got their hot pairs 15 on Dexscreener. So we'll go and we'll set 2 alerts on this one. So let's see here. I'm going to go to market cap, and we're sitting at, what is this? 405K according to the tab. So on the over, I'm going to go ahead and set this at 425. But again, remember, guys, high volatility doesn't always mean that it's going to keep going up. So right now it's not like spiking up, but I do have a feeling this one could come down. So here we're going to set that at 405 on the found, and we're going to go to 350. I'm going to say 325K on the under. I know it's a pretty decent deviation, but let's see if it triggers. So, and I think that's going to do it for us, on this video. So appreciate you guys as always for tuning in for another video here on Investment Honey and Crimson's Calls. Certainly, if you have not joined the Telegram, make sure that you go ahead and do so. Sometimes it's quiet on the Telegram, but you never know what I'm going to go ahead and send over there in terms of another call. And the same thing, on X, you never know what I'm going to send over there either in terms of a call. So if you're not part of either one of those communities, make sure that you check those out. Links are in the description as always. And with that being said, you guys stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you on the next video.